Welcome to my channel, Fisayo. Are you all right?
Hello. Yes, I'm all right.
Okay. I'm thrilled to have you on my channel, and I would love to know about your work. You're a creative writer, content creator, creative writer in fiction, non-fiction, and on top of that, you are having multiple, things on your plate. So enlighten me about that, Fisayo, about your work.
Okay, thank you. And before I go on, I want to make sure I get the pronunciation of your name right as well. Is that Janelle?
Yeah, that's right, channel.
Okay, thank you. Nice to meet you once again.
Likewise.
So, thank you for the introduction. As you mentioned, yes, my name is Fisayo Balogun. I'm currently a master's student studying creative writing, but personally, I'm a creative writer in fiction and nonfiction. Right now, I mainly do fiction, but I have experimented with nonfiction in the past. So my story writing journey started from quite a young age. I started in primary school. I was the type of student who would write books in paper, staple it, and then share with my family and my teachers. So that's what intrigued me. Then, as I got older, my parents started to introduce me to novels and books with more interesting words inside. So I would read that, and with that, I started writing my own pieces as well. So I would write on, I moved from paper to writing online. So my mom would give me like this tiny Samsung phone, and I would write some stories and share with her, share with my family. And as I kept developing into secondary school age, I started writing on my laptop, and in university as well, I started writing too. So that's where that passion came from and that journey came from. So now I write for myself, for my school, but sometimes there are people who hire me to write short pieces for them as well.
Wow, interesting. And I feel like words are your superpower. Your world revolves around words and novels and books, all the literally things. I feel like that. Is it true?
Yes, it does. It does. Because for me, as a writer, words are something that are the best things I believe to show emotion and make people understand a different reality. Most people who want to read books or want to get into writing, they do so because they believe that the world is already having a lot of issues. Why don't I do something that puts people in a different light, puts people in fantasy, or makes them want to connect basically? Because for people who go through emotional struggles and problems, they're able to read books that relate to them and see how the protagonist was able to overcome a problem or an issue that is similar to them. So for me, words are very interesting and very
Definitely.
intriguing.
And Fisa, your statement of yours reminds me of a guest that I interviewed earlier. That is Bijal Shah, and she's a, bibliotherapist. Yeah. So like you shared, she recommends books to the people where they can if they are having some sort of mental trauma or mental disease or any sort of thing that they are going through the power of words, through the books they can overcome that situation. So I guess words have that power, you know
Yes, they
and
do.
like they often say that a pen is mightier than the sword. So I guess you would be the right person to elaborate this statement.
Okay, so when people say the pen is mightier than the sword, there are certain things that words can do that can both make somebody happy, but at the same time could also wound somebody more than a sword would be. So if it's a sword, it's very physical. You stab a person and then they get injured. But with words, if you hurt somebody, that's something that stays with them for a long time. A sword wound may heal after time. You just need to go to the hospital. But words are something that you need to be very careful with. If it's
Hmm,
something, yeah, if it's something good, it sticks with somebody for a very long time because they feel it deep down that this person really meant something nice to me. This person really wanted me to feel this way. But if it's the other way and it's something mean, it sticks with somebody for so long that it takes quite a while for them to get rid of that. And I could give an example of people who go through things like bullying. They, if people write down statements about them or make fun of them as a child, sometimes we see this develop into anxiety and PTSD when these people are much older. So that's why it could be a double-edged sword for that painting. Your words
hmm.
can hurt people, but they can also make people feel happy. So it depends on you as a writer and as a speaker to know when to use it.
Wow, that's profound. Yeah, I never thought from this perspective. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, like you said. And if I'm not wrong, Fiosa, Fisayo, sorry, I kept on mispronouncing your name. It's a little bit challenging for me, so pardon me for
It's
that.
a
You also have experience of 4 years, like when it comes to in films, TV, and audio companies. So can you take us through that?
Okay, so the thing is, aside from my writing, I'm also really passionate about production and film. And about 4 years ago, I got into the TV industry. So I started working as an intern. I was working under a TV producer's assistant as well as a script writing assistant. For the script writing, it was mainly writing things, scripts for shows, doing a lot of research work, getting a lot of images for the teleprompter, and just making sure that the guests on the shows are doing well, and also making sure that the speakers on the shows are also they have the right things to say. Then as a TV producer's assistant, which was something that really made me know that I enjoyed production. I was working on a set. It was a fashion show, and this fashion show, we would have guests that would come in and talk about their outfits, and then they would rate outfits from 1 to 10, just like how people do on TikTok and Instagram these days. And I would talk with the guests, ask them how they were doing, ask them what their fashion inspiration was. And because I was quite young then, since I was an intern, they would were always very eager to teach me something or tell me something new. So it was really interesting to learn that part of the fashion business and also that part of production. So I worked with that TV producer for a while, and then after that I continued my schooling, and it was a really great experience. So once I was done with my undergraduate schooling, I decided to go professionally in production, and that's when I moved into film production from TV. And it was that TV production that gave me the experience I needed in my CV to get that film job. So in that film job, I worked as a production assistant and coordinator. So also I was a younger staff here, and people were always very eager to teach me new things. And that's I really like it when people are eager to teach me something, especially when it's something I'm really passionate about. And this one was so different from the TV genre because I was doing films, I was working with actors, I was working with people that would go on red carpets and premieres. It was such an exciting time. Yeah, it was such an exciting time for me to see scripts before they are turned into movies, to go on set, and then when the director yells cut, you feel like you have watched the movie before other people have. And then during that time, I also got to work on subtitles because in Nigeria, we have different languages. So in some of our movies can be set in our national languages, and then I do the subtitles in English so for foreign people to watch it. So that was also something that I really enjoyed doing, and getting to have that experience where I was able to connect with international audiences as well.
Oh,
And doing all that production was so fascinating, and attending premieres as well, which were two wonderful experiences. And once I did that, I just kept getting like passionate that I have to explore other kinds of production. I don't just want to do film production. And then that's when I moved to like more backstage experiences. The next one I took after that, the movie had already been shot, and they just needed somebody to plan the show for them and plan how they were going to promote it. So this was more on the marketing side of production. So I got to do that as well. I worked with the actors on social media. I got to do giveaways with fans of the actors so they could come and watch the movie, and it was interesting to see. But then I realized I still wanted to go back into production. It was more fun to be on the actual set than to do more of the behind the scenes. And then I tried again with audio production. And then audio production was also something good because then it related to me as a writer. And in this audio production, I was able to work with audio books, audio short stories, podcasts like yours as well. So just different things were happening at the same time. And then I realized that I like production, I like film, but this audio production journey has made me see that I also still enjoy my writing, and I want to make sure that I keep on doing that. But I need to get better at it since I didn't study it in school, and that's what led me here to study my master's in creative writing.
Oh, that's really sound fascinating. And I would love to know, Fisayo, that what kind of films have you worked on, and did you get the chance to meet any celebrities, famous personalities?
Yes, I was able to work on some romantic comedy, mainly Nigerian movies, but I was able to work on some romantic comedies. There was this Valentine special that we did called Before Valentine, and then that was a really nice experience. And then I worked on this show that had to do with like traditional Nigerian settings. And then the last one I worked on before I stopped working in film production was this movie called Aki and Popo, which is also a traditional Nigerian film that's not in English. But I got to meet like so many celebrities from my parents' days because the actors they were very old and elderly, and those were actors that my parents enjoyed when they were much younger. So it was a really exciting thing to meet those people as well as some new and upcoming actors as well.
Interesting. And right now, you are in the UK, right?
Yes, now I'm in the UK
So,
working on a film.
how's life in general over there? Is it challenging? Like we often see in the news that recession, inflation, all these things are taking over all over the world, even not only UK, but in like in my country also. So, how do you manage with these things, job crisis and all?
Yeah, so in the UK is much different from Nigeria, and as you mentioned, there are things like inflation, job crisis, and all. So what I do to manage is that right now, since I'm a student, I try to focus a bit on that and have meet the careers network in my school. Because as you mentioned, the job crisis right now, especially in the general UK market, is a bit challenging. So with the careers network, I'm able to get work experience from them to help my CV, so I can also get future UK job opportunities, whether in writing or production. So what I do is I just try to work in experiences that I feel will be able to boost my CV. Like right now, I'm working as a student ambassador, so I promote the school to potential students, people who want to come into the university, and people who want to study creative writing as well. So that's just what I'm using as like my side, and then that's what helps in payments. But then also it, because I'm in such a different country from back home, there are also things like with the weather that can be challenging, and also things like not having quick access to cultural dishes. So what I do is I try to spend time with people that I know, people, other Nigerians that are here, but also trying to mix with more multicultural backgrounds and learn from people and make friends as well. Because sometimes it does get lonely when you're quite far away from home and there's so much going on in the world. So just having time to meet with friends, whether both Nigerian or international friends, and connect with them helps to get my head in a clear sense and helps me to relax and have a bit of peace from the stress.
Makes sense. Wow, interesting. And when it comes to writing, like if I ask you a naive question, that is, what exactly is creative writing? What do universities teach in that?
Okay. So creative writing is really subjective because I've noticed that what some one person may write, someone else may enjoy and someone else may not enjoy it. So as a creative writer, you need to be able to be confident to know that sometimes when you're writing things, even if people don't enjoy it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means that that's the way they have perceived your work. So what they teach us in university is that they don't really teach us how to what kind of story will sell. They just teach us how to be a better writer. So they work on things like grammar, structure, how to research more, how to develop your ideas, and how to edit mainly. So there are some things that may not be necessary in the story, but you can edit it down so it makes clearer sense. But they also try and instill in us that writing is very subjective. So even if someone is reviewing your work and telling you these changes need to be made, you need to be confident to know if you don't want to change something, it's fine not to change it. So that's how they work with us. But the thing is, because it is also graded, most students want to follow a certain path and know what, because most people know what sells these days. Most people want to follow that certain path to get top grades. While our teachers always encourage us that grades aside, you should be able to write what comes from your heart mostly
Hmm.
and then edit it. And then once you edit it, that's fine. But write from your heart, that's the most important thing.
Interesting. And Fisayo, once you become a writer, like a full-time writer, what sort of genre would you like to explore, and what sort of books would you like to, write in that particular genre when it comes to fiction?
Okay, so for fiction, I'm really interested in. I really like to read crime and mystery. I feel like those are my two favorite genres of books to read. Anything crime, mystery, or anything that has to do with young adult issues. So for writing as well, once I become an author, I would really like to write books that have to do with mystery. Have to write books where people have to search or figure out maybe who the murderer is or who the thief is. I really enjoy books like that and crime as well, trying to solve puzzles, trying to find out who has done it, who is the detective, who is the liar. I really like books like that. And then also really emotional pieces as well. Something maybe not exactly romance, but I would write something similar to that that at least makes my reader feel very emotional and very connected to my characters as well. So those were the three main things I'm really interested in exploring.
Wow, that sounds intriguing, and I would love to know who are the writers that you look up to.
Yeah, so I look up to there's this writer called Jenny Han. Right now her books are being turned into series and movies on Netflix and on Amazon Prime. It's the popular series To All the Boys I've Ever Loved and The Summer I Turned Pretty. I've read a lot of her books growing up, and one of my favorite books by her is this series called Born for Born series, and that series it hasn't been turned into a movie or a series yet, but I feel that's one of my favorite series from her, and I really look up to her because working in production as well, I've seen people have books and then the books get turned into series or movies, and it's something I really want to do as well. I want to be able to write a book where a company is able to turn that into a movie or series and people can either read it or watch it. So I really look up to her because she has been able to do that with a lot of her work. So she's somebody that is my main inspiration. And then there's also this writer called Lauren Kate. Only one of her books has been turned into a movie, but she's a very wonderful writer. She writes more in the fantasy genre and mystery, which is something really interesting to me. So getting to read about like angels and mystical creatures and things like vampires and all that is very interesting from her. So she does that very well. So I really love those two authors. They are very great people to read.
Which book of yours has been adapted into the movie, or the movie
It's,
name of the movie? Uh,
the movie is called Falling. So it's a movie about an angel that falls from the sky and comes to a school of people that need to be rehabilitated. So it's a very interesting concept. I read the book when I was quite young and the movie came out when I was a bit older, but it was really interesting to see the difference between the book and the movie. I hope that the rest of her books, because it's like a 7 part series, gets picked up for movies. But as of right now, I haven't heard that they have been turned into movies yet, but it's a really interesting series, the Fallen series.
what's the name again? Fallen. Fisayo.
Yes, Fallen. Yeah, for Fallen. Fallen.
Is it 2016 movie?
Yes,
Okay, all right. I guess.
the author is Lauren Kate.
Are you referring to this one?
Yes, it's that one.
Wow.
I remember watching it when it came out. Then it was really interesting to see something from my childhood turned into a movie back then.
Interesting. Wow. Sweet. And let's assume that once you write a book, and if a movie has been supposed to be made on your book, who do you think would be the right actors, or who would be the actors that you would like to choose for your book, for the movie based on your book's adaptation?
Mhm. I really like so many actors. Honestly, I really look up to a lot of them. I would say my favorite for a female actor is Zendaya. She's a very wonderful actor. I've watched a lot
Zendaya.
of yes, I've watched a lot of things that she has been in from like children shows to more adult shows. So she will be somebody that I'll be really excited to play any character in my book. And then for male characters, he was just in a recent movie, Michael B. Jordan. He's a very
Mm,
great actor as well. I see him in a lot of things. So it would be really interesting to have him also in one of my books. I think having both of them would be my dream. But just having any actor in general, even if it's an upcoming actor or an upcoming actress, I'll be excited as well. Because my books also try to promote diversity. So I also would like to have actors and actresses from different backgrounds and different ethnicities as well. So it will be really interesting to see because I do watch I watch some Asian shows and dramas, and having those actors in my works would be great. And I also watch some European and American shows and dramas as well. So having any of those actors and actresses would be good.
interesting. And out of your busy schedule, what kind of things do you do to, to rejuvenate yourself?
So I like to paint, but I won't call myself an artist. I just like to paint for fun. It's a hobby that I developed while I was in school. I would just get a picture from the internet, and I had a paint kit, and I would just paint something and replicate it. And if I wasn't painting, I would use crayons or color pencils to replicate images. And sometimes my teachers have pointed out in class that as the teacher is speaking, let's say I'm trying to concentrate, I'll just pick up a pen and I'll be sketching on my book. And then a classmate will be like, let me see one note you have taken down. And then they see a picture instead of notes because I've been drawing. So it's something I really find relaxing. When I'm not writing, I just try to make any kind of art, even if I don't plan to showcase or publish it. It's just something for me to enjoy during my spare time.
Wow. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's really, all the things that you mentioned are highly creative, and it's inspiring, the things that you do, even in terms of writing, in terms of even when you are not doing anything, you are doing painting. So that is also kind of productive thing. So it's really inspiring, Fisayo. And on
Thank
that note, I guess I won't hold you any longer. It has been really a pleasure having this conversation with you. And thank you
Thank
for your time. We'll catch up soon.
thank thank you so much. And if you don't mind, I would actually like to know more about what you do as well. I have seen your YouTube channel, but I was really interested in knowing what you do as well.
Yeah. Yes, for when it comes to YouTube, like I try to create, podcasts with creative people like you, so that my audience can learn not only in terms of communication, but in terms of things in general, how people from different countries are living their life, how they are, surviving. So I try to sort of like showcase them that life is much bigger than what we think, because I'm in India. I don't know what other people are doing. So once I get the chance to meet them, to know their insights, the things that they do, it's really, it's highly educational and informative. So I really like to do this kind of things. All right. And it always keeps me, I never try to rest on my laurels. I always try to be, always competitive and stay ahead of the curve. So I always like meeting people like you who are creative, they are deeply devoted towards their stuff. So it's always been a pleasure, and I'm always elated when someone says yes to be a guest on my podcast. So again, I would warmly like to thank you that you took out the time out of your busy schedule, and I hope that we'll continue this conversation. We'll make a part two of it, and definitely, I'm already looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for inviting me today as well.
Thank you, Fisayo, for being here, and have a great day. We'll catch up soon. Take care.
Thank you. Take care as well. Have a lovely day.
You too.
Thank you.